Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Quinn Still, and I'm here today to talk about healing church hurt. Okay, this is a topic that's very special to me because, as spiritual as I am and as much as I love God, I've been hurt by a couple of different churches. So, what I wanted to do today is to talk about that topic and how to take that church hurt and heal from it. So, to start, what is church hurt? Church hurt is, in Christian faith, we have the assumption that the church is a safe haven for all Christians and non-believers alike, that whenever you go and you seek the church, that you can find healing in that church. But what happens instead of you getting healing, you get condemnation? How do you heal from that? I mean, are we even going to talk about that? That sometimes you go to church and they do more damage than they do good? Yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens. I mean, it's a reality of life. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this particular video is to address the fact that, one thing that I see is when people experience church hurt, they actually turn away from God and religion entirely. And that's not what God wants you to do. So, when it comes to church hurt is, again, there's an assumption that when you walk into a church, that they will embrace you. That's what God commands us to do, embrace everyone that walks into the church. But the most important thing that I want to stress is that the church is comprised of human beings who have flaws, who are sinners just like you. And so it is entirely possible that when you go into a church that the people that are there do not embrace you. And it could be because of their attitudes, their views on spirituality, their views on religion. And it is entirely possible for you to not be embraced fully in a church home. Now, when it comes to getting hurt by the church, God wants you to use that hurt in a positive way. Now, to illustrate what I mean is I can, give my own personal testimony. One of the things is I travel a lot. I'm a digital nomad, meaning that I work remotely from my computer and I can travel, I can be anywhere in the world, right? And so one of the things that God has wanted me to do is, instead of me getting hurt by the church and turning away from it and condemning churches altogether or what have you, is every time I've been hurt by the church, I sought out God even harder. I said, hey, God, this is supposed to be a place that loves me and embraces me. That didn't happen. What gives? You can talk to God like that. You can say that to him. I mean, he's not going to smack you down for that, right? Because your intent is trying to understand why it is that this particular, establishment wasn't embracing you as hard as they were supposed to. I mean, that's what we're taught. We're taught that the church is supposed to embrace. So why didn't I not get embraced? What is it that I have to work on, right? And in some instances, there are some things that you do have to work on. For me personally, my church hurt allowed me to have a stronger connection to God, because as someone who travels around the world and, experiences people in different languages, and, I'm a very curious and explorative person. So sometimes I will go and I will, go into temples of different faith and things like that. What God wanted for me personally is to use my church hurt to always make sure that I have him in my heart. So it doesn't matter what church I'm in. It doesn't matter where in the world I am. God always has a place in my heart. So let me repeat that again in case that flew over your heads. God wanted me to make sure that no matter where I am, he's always in my heart. I may not necessarily have a church home at any day-to-day moment, but God always has a home in my heart. And that's the ultimate thing that he wants to stress, is you shouldn't feel that, oh, I didn't go to church on Sunday, therefore I'm lost. No, when God has a home in you, you can always connect to him. If you're in a different country where they're speaking another language and you don't really understand what they're saying, God is still in your heart. So for me personally, that's what my church hurt meant. And so what God doesn't want to happen is for you to allow that church hurt to turn you off from God and religion entirely. When you get turned off from God and religion entirely, the devil wins. And we all know that, as Christians, we're playing against the devil. The devil is real. This is not some imaginary boogeyman that's just in the Bible. No, the spirit of the devil is very much alive in this world. And so you have to understand, what are the things that turn you away from God? Those are the things that the devil uses to drive a wedge between you and God. And so if you experience church hurt and you say, you know what, this particular church hurt me, I'm not going to go to church at all. I'm just done with God. Because if God was supposed to be this loving creature, why is it that he allowed these people to hurt me? Right. So there's never going to be a time where being a Christian means you don't get hurt. I mean, God provides his armor. Yes, he provides protection for us through storms. Yes. But that doesn't mean that that you're invulnerable, that you won't get hurt. It's all a matter of how do you get back up after that hurt. So if you were hurt by the church and you decide to get up and say, you know what, maybe that church wasn't for me. Let me go seek another church. Okay, that's perfectly fine. And even in this video, I'm not trying to dissuade people from finding a church home. You know, if you find a church home that speaks to your heart and your soul, by all means, continue to stay there and, give ministry and provide and make yourself of service to that church, right? Now, so I'm only really speaking from my experience, and maybe there's somebody who can relate to this. But in my particular experience, my church hurt allowed me to make sure that no matter where I am, even if I don't feel like I have a home in a church, I always have God within me. And so God wants you to be able to have a connection to him. And if you feel that you need a church to do that, completely go ahead. But this video is for those people who feel like the church has failed them. And so God doesn't want you to think that he has failed you. Let me repeat that again. God doesn't want you to feel like he has failed you. It was just that church. And so it's up to you to sit and reflect and say, okay, I have this hurt from this church. What am I going to do with it? The appropriate answer is not to start slinging mud at that church or, condemning all churches or trying to recruit people not to go to church. No, the answer is, okay, in my individual walk with God, what is this church hurt supposed to teach me? And so you do have to sit, and then God will tell you what to do with that church hurt. I mean, my church hurt is led me to record this video. So, I mean, maybe your church hurt is supposed to help you go and talk to other people who feel like they've been rejected by the church and get them to get closer to God. And that maybe that person is not supposed to be showing up in church regularly. Maybe that person is supposed to be someone who has a stronger connection to God, and they're not supposed to be in the church. Who knows? But each individual person's walk with God is different. So it's very hard for me to tell you this is how you must walk with Christ. My job is just to help you walk with Christ better and to give you information and the tools to do so. So that's, my particular mission, right? So what I want my Christian friends to do is, if you feel, or even non-Christian friends, because I have met a lot of people who are not of faith who have been hurt by the church, and that is what they use to stay away from the church, to stay away from religion, to down talk it, to make jokes about it, And so it annoys me. I'm not going to lie. It annoys me a little bit when people do that, but I can understand where it came from, because just like I decided to heal from my church hurt, I can understand how someone can take church hurt and decide not to heal from it, and what attitudes and behaviors and things I would say if I decided not to heal from that church hurt. So hopefully this video has helped you in, understanding that church hurt is not meant to turn you away from God, but in many instances, it can be used to pull you closer to him. And if this video has helped you at all, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe, all that jazz, whatever. All right, guys. So stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you guys later.